Phil Neal was the first manager when you were chairman.
Yes, but again, it was when I first arrived, it was Terry Butcher.
Yeah.
And Terry was playing a bit, he hardly played, and then he had a dual contract, one to play and one to be the manager, and we had to change that because it was he thought he should still get paid the same money for not playing and managing as well as for managing and playing. So that changed. It wasn't very successful, and Terry, I don't think, ever since has been a particularly successful manager. So then we had a situation with Bobby, and Bobby was very much Peter's choice. He'd known Bobby for a long time before,
60s, yeah.
and so on. At the time, it probably suited us at that moment. I don't think it was ever going to be long term. But Bob is an unusual character, very good at finding, postman John Williamses of this world and so on. He was very much a Coventry boy. And so that was good at the time, it suited us well. We were going to follow Bob with, it was planned to be, if memory serves me, with Don Howe. And Don was here as Bobby's sort of assistant. Yeah. But Don didn't really want to travel up from, he lived in Hertfordshire, which is quite near the Arsenal training ground where he lived at Radlett. And so he didn't want to come up. So that was that. So then Phil was the man, and Phil was incredibly hardworking, honest, and he did very well for us. It was just that for some reason, who knows what, the crowd didn't like either the football or Phil was quite a quiet character, yeah. And I think people wanted something a bit more. But his I think the season he was here as a full season, we finished 11th.
Yeah, it was
so
season, yeah.
You can't argue with that.
No.
That was top of our division, as it were. Top 10 versus bottom 10. We were top of the other half. Yeah. But it was. I was very fond. I liked Phil very much, and I thought he was a very good person. But it may be wrong place, wrong time. And I think there was also the issue over the media when the England thing and so on. Yeah. That didn't help at all.
The Graham Taylor documentary.
Yeah, the Graham Taylor thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, people latch on to things and they misread Phil because of...
Unfairly.
Yeah. I think that was very unfair.
Which then brought the club on to Ron Atkinson.
Big Ron, yeah. Well, the reason for, I suppose the reason for one was the place needed a lift. We needed a Pied Piper at the time, as well as the managing of the team and so on. We needed somebody to excite the fans, and Ron certainly did that. From the moment he arrived, we were full. Having been averaging 12 or 13,000, we were suddenly 19 or 20,000. And the end of that season, I don't know how many games Ron did at the end, probably 10 or 12 games, maybe a few more. He got us out of trouble, brought a few in that did the trick at the end, like Kevin Richardson and one or two others who were, really good leaders and so on. And he got us through the hump. And the next season, of course, was a different game altogether. that was harder then, I think, because other people had started really as well to pile in with money into building squads. It was just at the moment that the new TV deal kicked in and everybody started to be a bit more aggressive about spending money, as we were at the time too.
There were quite a few foreign signings at that time as well. That was sort of the start of the foreign influx. Gary McAllister came in as well. That was the season after, sorry, but Last Day Survival as well, 95,
Yes,
96
I mean,
season.
as it happens, that season we played really well, but only in patches. It was an extraordinary. We went on little runs of, playing really well and getting some results, and then all of a sudden losing 4 on the bounce again, and you can't do that. You need to keep a level of. If it's averaging 1.5 points or something, you're okay. You got up to 42 or 43 points, and that's about right. But it worked for what we wanted. It worked. Towards the end of that year, Ron wasn't very well. His father was a very nice man, and Fred and Ron were very close, and it really affected Ron to see his father ill. That was pretty much the time that it was decided that he would step aside and Gordon would take over. And it was done very amicably. It was badly handled by a colleague of mine, in as much it should have been handled that Ron, which was the right way, was stepping aside, but it came out in one of the newspapers that Ron had been fired and so on, which was not what we were wanting to do. But Ron understood that, and he trusted me and I trusted him to know that neither of us had broken our word to each other, and that was important, and Gordon knew that as well.
Because Ron became director of football.
Yes, but truthfully, it was a way to protect Ron's position, credibility, reputation, whatever it may be. And it was a gentle way of, but he was not really going to do the role, and he wasn't paid to do. But he handled it very well, and he handled the media extremely well, and that's really what we wanted.